Something I'll never understand is the mental gymnastics some people do to try to point to anything and claim that it's satanic. For better or worse, my friend did as well. I say that because their parents were that kind of parents. Super religious household where most kids' programming was the devil spawned to them. Video games drawing particular anger. I still remember their bullshit reasoning. Earthly creations by men like these things are only there to test us. Those who fall before them is already lost in his eyes. At least my friend could keep a secret under lockdown like it was the Declaration of Independence. Whenever they'd come over to my house, we'd play a few rounds of several games on my old Sega Genesis. In our teenage years, that bond only strengthened with us getting deeper and deeper into the franchise that to this day still makes our lives all the easier to get through. Sonic the Hedgehog. The living embodiment of what being free is. Something that my friend wanted to be. I even helped them make their own OC at one point. Another thing they were good at, albeit stemming from pressure from their parents, was school. Straight A's, nothing below a 90 out of 100, and as such, they were made to apply for some fancy college in Europe. They'd be moving away soon, so... Great minds think alike. We both decided we needed to play together one last time. And what better than to play the so-called best Sonic game of all time, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Only issue was... Back in the day, my brother thought the cards needed a bath, so ever since, my friend and I had resorted to re-releases. But that just wouldn't do for our last play session in a long time. We needed the real deal. So I looked up retro gaming stores in my town. Sure enough, there was only one pretty much unadvertised stand in a local secondhand flea market. So, on a bit of a time crunch and having to stop for a coffee midway to the place, I've heard horror stories and advice that these are places you have to go to in the early morning to avoid missing what you're looking for. When I got there they were. Only a couple were in mint condition, but they were there, including the reason I'm telling you all of this now. Well, part of the reason. I drove back home and slept a couple more hours before properly getting up, calling my friend over and bringing out my Sega Genesis. Once they arrived, I gave them the pleasure of putting the cartridge in themselves, watching Sonic dart around the screen. Though, for some reason, the game didn't grace us with the compressed Sega voice clip. We did reboot the console and blow on the cartridge, but it remained silent. Oh well, the game is nearly 30 years old, some shit like this was bound to happen. Though, there must have been something else going on when the title screen came up and everything just had this bright green hue. I know that modern-ish TVs and old consoles don't really get along, but I used my Sega Genesis just last week and it played just fine. Gently used my honey-coated ass, I said while rolling my eyes, sharing a chuckle with my friend. We chose a save file and I let them play as Sonic. As some of my other friends, I'll tell you I'm one forgetful son of a bitch, but I could have sworn that we chose the option to have 2 players. But when the game started, Sonic was already in his super form. Tails nowhere to be found. Knuckles appeared in the cutscene as he usually would, but he never hit Sonic, yet the Hedgehog still bounced back and powered down, be it not dropping any emeralds. They stared at each other, expressionless, before Knuckles ran away and the act started, Tails still nowhere to be found. We were playing a ROM hack, most definitely. Hey, it's okay, said my friend, noticing my frustration, kind smile in their face. I smiled back, letting out a sigh. Maybe it's not the way we intended, but at least they'd have a chance to get through one of my favorite games of all time before they crossed the pond for a couple of years. With that said, I reminded them of the controls and they played onwards. With all this said, the green hue was starting to hurt my eyes, so I took a moment to head to the bathroom and wash my face. I heard them go into one of the blue sphere stages, and not long after, as I was fetching something from the fridge for us, I heard aloud, "Wait, what? What the fuck?" I rushed back in case something was going on, leaving the Coke bottles on the counter, and just out of the corner of my eye, I could see Sally Acorn on the corner of the screen, running away before the flames engulfed Angel Island. I noticed it was a ROM hack, but that was bizarre to see regardless. For those of you who don't know, Sally Acorn was a character in the Archie run of Sonic's comics. In her early appearances, she sported blonde hair, which later got changed to the design most fans know. The former blonde squirrel was the one that showed her face in the game, and even if that wasn't enough of a weird choice, there were no official games that featured this character. Didn't stop there, as once the flames cleared, rather than just getting into Act 2, we transitioned into the Super Emerald Shrine. Tails and Knuckles were there right as Sonic approached. They all stared at each other, and while the little fox tried to approach the hedgehog, he stayed at a distance. I couldn't put my finger on it then, but something just felt a bit off. Then that feeling intensified when Sally walked on screen, right behind Knuckles. Sonic made a run towards her and the echidna punched him away, Tails remaining on the side, just looking on as his big bro got beat. Finally moved on to Act 2, and my friend continued playing till we reached the boss fight for the zone. Sally was in the cockpit. By this point, I had already processed the fact that this was a ROM hack, but I still couldn't help but find it weird. Why was Sally in an antagonistic position? She's Sonic's love interest throughout Archie. I don't know a whole lot about the comics, but I know that much. Regardless of the weirdness, the game continued, with the green hue present all throughout, just like Sally kept appearing piloting the Batmech bosses my friend destroyed, as well as those cutscenes. Sonic kept trying to reach Sally, and started fighting Knuckles. He got him to the ground. Tails stepped in as well, trying to hold him back. The last one we saw when my friend reached the final Super Emerald special stage. Yet before anything else happened, the screen flashed a message. Are you satisfied? Tails was now fighting Sonic, blocking his way as Sally started to run away, and the game cut to the stage right after Sonic decidedly, and I know this is gonna sound stupid, but angrily spin dashed into him. We collected the blue spheres. Was it worth it? Text came on screen as my friend played, somehow not losing their focus. Was she worth it? More text came on as we finished the stage. My head starting to hurt from the bright, sickly coloring everything had. In the walls, under the floor. Before the results screen, the TV showed Sonic chasing Sally through the stage. You can't escape. Spin dashed into her, and all of a sudden we were back to the title screen. Amidst our massive confusion throughout everything we'd seen so far, we started panicking, going into the save file screen at the very least, having the relief of seeing our data was intact. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something really wrong about this ROM hack, but then again, it's just a Sonic game. This wasn't one of the stories you'd see online about cursed games. There's no way this game could harm us in any way, so after sharing these same arguments for my friend, continued on to the next stage. At least seeing Hypersonic and hearing the classic, unaltered music helped me relax a little. We reached the final boss before long, and of course it was Sally piloting it. I'd almost grown numb to it by this point, just looked on waiting for my friend to ram into the boss with Hypersonic. But then, during the chase scene, he only grazed the hitbox of the robot, and Sonic took damage. Once he fell out of the screen, it all went to black. It choked out a gasp as hue subsided, but was replaced by a new stage. There was no title card announcing a name for it, and we were left with a sight of Sonic looking down at a floor made out of Sally sprites, all jumbled together, undulating and glaring at the blue hedgehog, the stage completely quiet save for whenever Sonic jumped or did a spin dash. And even then, I could hear a sound I'd never heard a Sega Genesis make with every step, every jump. To this day, I can't interpret it in any other way than the sea of Sallies, groaning in pain as they were trampled. As my friend got out of the shock of seeing this thing, they trudged onwards until they were unable to. The screen panned to reveal the sprites of Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Cream, Cheese, and the Chaotix, all just staring at Sonic. She was mine, you said. The screen read. Each sprite disappeared until they were all replaced by one. A blue-toned Sally, as if she was a ghost. And then Sonic started sinking. And the walls, the groaning from the Sallys intensified under the floor. Slowly, the Sally ghost approached them. In the walls, when she touched him under the floor. The screen turned to black with a sound that plays when you lose a life in the game. And lastly, the part of this that would haunt me long after this experience, more text appeared. Read it out loud this time. I don't know why. Here lies Princess Sally Anderson. Her Royal Majesty now sleeps in the most unconventional of graves. We sat there for a while, on edge, and after the screen stayed frozen for about a minute, I finally turned the damn thing off. It's been a couple months since all of that happened. I keep in touch with my friend. They're having a nicer time than expected overseas. I wasn't really able to get that experience out of my head, so I decided to do something. I have a Facebook account that I haven't touched in forever and I never did anything with. Back in the day, I joined a couple communities about Sonic, retro gaming, etc. But I was always too shy to say something. So mostly just events and anything else, I posted about the game we played, sparing the more specific details like, well, you know. That helped me for a bit. But then, a couple days later, I got a response. Something basic, wow, that sounds really weird, from some guy. I got a message request from him not that long after. Turns out that cartridge may have been his. He'd made the ROM hack with a couple friends, describing it to me that it was going to be a big story about Sonic being framed and his friends, plus some of the Archie characters would work against him to protect the emeralds from Robotnik while Sonic tried to clear his name. It sounded pretty familiar to what my friend and I saw, but it was still a far cry from the actual thing. I shared the specifics of the hack with him and he stayed quiet for a good while. I thought nothing of it and went on with my day, but later he sent me a link to a private chat room. The unsettling feeling I got from the ROM hack was back. I damned my curiosity as I typed this, but I clicked on the link and joined it. There wasn't anyone in the chat room but the user and I. I sent a couple hellos and question marks, but I got nothing. I waited, and right as I was about to listen to my better judgment and log off and forget this guy, he replied. One line after another. Sweet Jesus. You have my cartridges. You have my cartridges and I want them back. Give me your address so I can go pick them up. You weren't meant to see what you saw. My friends ended up taking those cartridges after we fell out and stopped the project. Must have hacked them behind my back before returning them. They weren't meant to be sold to the stores. I sold the wrong copies. Give me your address so I can swap copies. I have ones that aren't corrupt. I'll give them to you for free. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Hurry up and give me your address. Give it to me. Give me your fucking address! I was frozen in my seat for about a minute reading what he said. Like a deer in front of a car's headlights. And despite all this, my mind was racing with questions equal to the fear I felt. Who was this guy? Most of all, who was Sally Anderson? I opened up a new tab and hastily typed my question. Blood freezing as I saw the missing poster stated last seen September 4th, 1996. I jumped when I heard the notification sound again. Popped back into the chat room to this. I'm sorry for that, really, I'm sorry. But, really, tell me your address. Just the town where you live, please. I can explain everything. Just give me your address. Now, give me your address. Where do you live? Tell me where you fucking live! With hesitation on every key, Precise, for some godforsaken reason, replied, Who is Sally Anderson? Responded almost instantly. Sally Anderson is mine. I blocked his user with a mouse cursor shaking in sync with my panicked breathing, uselessly attempting to breathe deeply to calm down. I blocked him on Facebook as well, and just for good measure deleted my account. This was 3 days ago. I haven't been able to sleep. I keep thinking about his last message. Not the chat room one, but the other. In the walls. Under the floor. In the walls. under the floor. I've only left my house if absolutely necessary and been carrying a hidden knife if I needed to defend myself, always looking over my shoulder. Today, as I was going to email my friend, an email with an unnamed sender, subject reading, "Found you," stared back at me from my inbox. I found you. I know you live in those mediocre fucking apartments off of Anderson Street. I know you work at that sad fucking excuse of a printing shop off 3rd Street in May. I know that you go to Pauline's Coffee at 6 a.m. before you go to work and at 2 p.m. after you get off. I know you drink cappuccinos with heavy liquid creamer and extra sugar with 3 sticks of cinnamon. I know that the car you drive is a blue 2000 Honda Civic with a large crack in the windshield. I know your plate number is AUK278, and that you have a Little Tails bobblehead on the dashboard. I know you graduated from Thompson High School in 2011. I know where you go, when you go, what you do, and when you do it. No matter where you run, no matter where you hide, I will be right there, right around the corner. Then you'll join her. You'll join her, and then you'll be mine too. My body went slack. As I could, I got up from my seat and watched out the window. Anyone out there could be him. I'm so scared. I've called the police. I'm hiding in my room with that knife. Everything is dark. Yet, you know what's funny? From here, I can see the dark corner where I put the cartridge away. It stares at me, lying quietly, just like Sally. In the walls, under the floor. In the walls, under the floor.